Hi, everybody. Thank you once again for joining me for Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. I'm Yvonne. How are you today? If you were looking for the spot to talk about retirement savings, you are indeed in the correct place. We'll tell you at the end how you can join this community should you choose to do so. Just listen to this episode and see what you think, okay? All right, so we're going to start this the way we always do by me asking you, how are you doing? How are you faring? How is it going? We know life is challenging. We've all got struggles of some sort. It's just that we're all so busy that sometimes we forget to reach out to the people next to us and say, hey, how are you doing? I want to know. I want you to feel comfortable sharing. And so that's what we do here. I just want you to know that we care about you and we're wishing the best for you and hoping everything's okay. So I just always want to do that because we're all struggling with something, right? So just want you to know we are thinking about you. Alrighty? So, how is it going with me? Pretty well. I don't have too many complaints. Now, every year for the past, I don't know, several years, I have been doing donations through the United Way. So every year about this time, summer-ish, where they ask people to contribute things to help kids start the school year off right, right? So you have backpacks, you've got notebooks, anything having to do with school. I just want to be a part of helping kids to start their year right. And so I did that this year. And man, stuff has gotten so expensive. Now, I don't know how much I've spent in previous years. I didn't feel the need really to complain. And I'm not necessarily complaining now, but man, I went to Target to fill the orders. Well, I guess I went to a number of different places because I found backpacks for sale at Kohl's. I think I got two of them for $30, so that was good. And then I went to Target to fill the orders. So, knowing that people tend to want to get things for the younger kids, I decided this year I would fill up a backpack for an elementary school kid and that I would also fill up a backpack for a middle school high schooler. So I did that, and by the time I was done, you guys, I spent almost $100. And I don't know how parents are able to manage. It's just amazing to me how much stuff costs. And whomever coined the phrase, it takes a village, it does. And we all have to take care of each other. Because if mom and dad can't afford to get the stuff the kids need to start the school year right, hey, I'm willing to help out. So that's what I did. But I was like, oh, wow, this is expensive. And so I did that and I filled them up and I'll be dropping them off for pickup. I just, well, parents, God love you. It's like, this is so expensive. But like I said, I am more than happy to help. And the cost wasn't necessarily the relevant part. It's just how much things are now. I'm more than happy to contribute, but it's like every year this stuff gets so expensive. So that's the only thing. So I spent my $100 and I took that off of what I like to set aside for different things. And it's like, wow, I'm just like, okay. It is what it is. I get that, but that's what I won't say struggle, but that's what I was up against the last few days. So that's done. And like I said, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to help out because kids deserve it. I don't have children myself, but for those of you who do, I just want them to have a happy, healthy school year and learn all that they can because life's going to throw some challenges at them and they just need to be ready. Okay? So, what have I been doing, thinking about, want to talk about during this particular session? So, I guess a couple of things. There are there was a story that I was reading about this one young woman in her 20s, early 30s, something like that. She was just kind of talking about the challenges that she's having, and my heart went out to her because, oh my heavens. So she's working, not a great job, but we don't all have great jobs, right? We have jobs and we are just looking to take care of ourselves. And I guess she had some challenges in her life and had some situations where her credit is not the best. And folks, whatever you do, protect your credit. We don't even think about the what our actions can do to us down the line. And for her, she's in a box right now because she's working, yes, but what she's discovered that because of her credit, she's having issues getting a place to live. She didn't mention what had happened to her in the past and why she's not currently renting. But what she's doing right now is she's staying in hotels every single night. I mean, think about that. I'm looking at the cost of hotels. I'll do that when I'm going to be traveling. And it's not cheap to stay in a hotel. And what she's been doing, because she can't get anybody to rent to her, she is just staying at hotels as much as she possibly can. It's to the point now where they'll only take cash from her. And she's just trying to get by. She's just trying to get a leg up. And it's very, very difficult because of her credit issues. So whatever you do, folks, protect that credit. And what it also did for me is it reminded me there are people, and lots of them out there, who are on the edge, who don't know how to get past it to create that life that they're looking at. And so it's just something to think about. Just, do what you can to protect it. And I'm trying to think of ways to help people like that out there. But I think the main thing is just really shining light on credit. And I'll think of stuff down the road, but I saw that, and like I said, it just kind of broke my heart. And like I said, I'll be thinking about some things. The other thing is parents of young adults who are having issues finding a job. Therefore, they can't find a place to live and pay their bills. Just all this stuff that they are dealing with. And one of the things that just kind of concerned me is the parents were saying things like they have stopped funding their retirement accounts because they're helping their kids. On the one hand, it's a lovely thought. Sure, you want to help out your children. They're still your kids and you want to help them. The only thing is it? Is it truly helping these young people if now you're not funding your retirement, you're giving all that cash to them? So are they learning to stand on their own 2 feet? I remember years ago, if I was in between jobs. Now, I went back to mom's house at some point, once, maybe twice, no more than that. But I had to figure it out. How do I live? Because it was nice to have a roof over my head. It was nice to have food, but I had bills to pay. And there was no way I was asking my mother for money to pay for my bills. I'm an adult, and we have to figure it out. That is part of growing up. And it forced me to do some things maybe I didn't necessarily want to do, but I did them anyway to take care of myself. And, parents don't want to say, hey, kid, suck it up because this is what you need to take care of. But there has to be something behind the scenes that lets that young person know they've got to find a way beyond that. And mom and dad not funding their retirement accounts to take care of that young person is not the way. Because what's going to happen down the road, 10, 20 years, when that young person has a family and they are trying to take care of themselves, their family, and fund their retirements. If mom and dad didn't do enough to take care of themselves, and now the kid feels like they have to step in and help, that is the issue right there. Because it's going to come up somewhere, and you might as well deal with it now rather than later. And what it comes down to is, as we've been talking before, the sheet of paper. So whether you do it this way or electronically, write down what you're bringing in, pay yourself first. And for me, pay yourself first, and I've told you guys this before, it's me putting away money for insurance that I pay every 6 months. It's putting money away in a retirement. Well, I've already taken care of the retirement part, but the emergency account, I'm doing that, and cash to do things, and my pocket money, because what I try to do is pay everything in cash. So for convenience, sometimes, yes, I will use a credit card, but I know that's got to get paid off at the end of the month. I do not carry a balance because I've learned over time that's just a way to make me broke. Living off of credit, and you guys, what I tell you here are things I have experienced, right? I'm not just kind of throwing stuff in the air. These are things I've had to deal with myself. And so I've had credit issues. I don't anymore because I pay everything off at the end of the month. It's just over and done. That's where the money goes. So it's just take care of yourselves, okay? And then I've got my monthly expenses right down here. And is there a shortfall? This is when you figure out you have an issue. Many people fail to do this, and they are just scrambling. They just can't figure out. They're always running in place because they haven't learned to kind of look at their expenses and be critical about them and go, okay, wait a minute. I'm paying this, this, and this. Can I get it cheaper? Do I really need to spend that money? Whatever the questions are, make sure you know what your expenses look like. Do you have enough to cover them? And are you living off of credit? If the answer to that question, you are living off of credit, take a step back and figure out your way out of that crisis, because it'll knock you down. It will. For years, okay, I had credit card debt, and I just had to figure out a way through it. We all do. That it's all about figuring it out, taking care of yourself, and taking care of yourself just not just now, but into the future. So that is something for you to think about, look at, and to deal with, okay? And, we try to keep these at the 15-minute mark. And I'm looking at the time and thinking, because I kind of wanted to talk more about the Millionaire Next Door, which we will get back to. But when I see some stuff, I want to say some stuff. So that's pretty much what I've done today. So we'll wind this particular one up, and just know that there are people out there who need some help. And at the very beginning, I said, if you are not a member of this community and want to consider it, think about it. See where it says subscribe right down there? Click that link. First of all, when I produce these sessions, there is no charge whatsoever. I wish that when I was coming up, I had something like this where people just talk, normal people, not because I'm not a CPA, I'm not a money manager of any sort, just a graduate of the School of Hard Knocks, and I'm just sharing with you what I have learned over the years. So, subscribe. These will come to you in email, and you can use them. You can look at them, share them with others, because there's somebody out there who needs this information. They do. And then also you can just keep them for yourself. Okay? Now with that, we're going to wind this up. I thank you so very much for joining me for Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. I'm Yvonne. And until next time, please take care of yourselves, Take care of each other. We are all we have. Okay? You take care. See you next time. Bye.